Ever notice how some men expose their own weakness, not by what they do, but by what they say? Listen closely, because these 10 phrases are the signature lines of a man sabotaging his own life. If a man keeps saying things like, "That's just how I am, I don't care, it's not my fault, I'll start tomorrow," or "Everyone else is the problem," you're not hearing confidence. You're hearing a mind that has surrendered. A man who fears responsibility, avoids discipline, and runs from growth. The truth is, strong men don't blame, complain, or make excuses. They speak in solutions, not tantrums. In effort, not ego. In accountability, not avoidance. So if you catch yourself using any of these phrases, good. It means you can correct them. Because the difference between a foolish man and a powerful one is simply the courage to change his words. And then change his life. There's a certain kind of man you meet in life, the kind whose words give him away before his actions ever do. He talks big, he talks loud, he talks often. But the more he speaks, the more you realize he's revealing something he doesn't even see. His own weakness. You can identify this man not by his achievements, but by the excuses he repeats. By the complaints he clings to. By the way he uses language like a shield to hide his fear of responsibility, effort, and discipline. And the sad part? He thinks he's being real. He thinks he's being honest. But really, he's exposing how little control he has over himself. Every wise man knows that your words shape your world. What you speak reveals what you believe. And what you believe dictates how far you rise. Or how deep you sink. A man with a strong mind speaks with intention. A man with a weak mind speaks without thought. And that carelessness becomes the architect of his downfall. So when we talk about the things a stupid man always says, we're not mocking him. We're studying him. We're holding up a mirror to remind ourselves. Never become this. Because every one of these phrases you're about to hear has a cost. Some cost time. Some cost opportunities. Some cost relationships. But all of them cost the one thing a man can never afford to lose. His self-respect. When a man constantly blames others, resists growth, or avoids accountability, he's not just speaking carelessly. He's surrendering his potential. He's handing over the steering wheel of his life to fear, ego, or laziness. And here's the part people don't like to admit. Almost every man, at some point, has said these things. Because the road to real strength is uncomfortable. It demands control over your emotions, discipline over your impulses, and mastery over your tongue. So if you recognize yourself in any of the phrases we're about to cover, good. It means you're self-aware enough to change. This video isn't about shaming anyone. It's about identifying the verbal habits that silently keep men stuck. The statements that drain ambition. The sentences that block growth. The phrases that weak men repeat. And strong men eliminate. So let's break down the 10 things a stupid man always says. And more importantly, let's understand why each one is a chain that any man with ambition must break. Alright, let's get straight into it. Here are 10 things a stupid man always says. And if any of these sound familiar, take it as a warning, not an insult. 1. That's just how I am. Whenever a man says this, he thinks he's being honest. But he's actually announcing that he has zero interest in growth. This sentence is the ultimate excuse to stay exactly where he is. Unimproved, unchanged, and unimpressive. Think about it. Every strong man you admire today is the product of change. Nobody wakes up disciplined, confident, or wise. Those are trained qualities, not natural gifts. But the foolish man? He wants the world to accept his worst behaviors as his identity. If he's lazy, he shrugs and says, "That's just how I am." If he's rude, that's just how I am. If he doesn't communicate, that's just how I am. No. That's how you choose to be. The mature man looks at himself and says, this is how I am, but not how I'm going to remain. That's growth. That's strength. And that's the difference. 2. It's not my fault. This phrase is the anthem of a man who has surrendered his life to excuses. He blames traffic, society, the government, his childhood, his parents, the weather. Anything except the one thing he actually controls, himself. When a man refuses to take responsibility, he refuses to take power. Because responsibility is what gives you control. It's what turns chaos into direction, and weakness into strength. There's a simple truth here. The moment you blame something else, you give that thing authority over your life. A strong man says, maybe it wasn't my fault, but it is my responsibility. That mindset changes everything. 3. I'll start tomorrow. Tomorrow has destroyed more potential than failure ever has. Every stupid man thinks future him is somehow richer, calmer, stronger, smarter, more disciplined. So he transfers all responsibility to that imaginary person. I'll start the gym tomorrow. I'll save money tomorrow. I'll fix my habits tomorrow. But tomorrow is sneaky. Because it keeps resetting. And suddenly a year passes. 5 years have passed. A decade passes. Meanwhile, the smart man understands. Momentum is built now. Progress is built now. Discipline is built now. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to begin. The smallest action today is worth more than the biggest plan tomorrow. 4. I don't care. This is the armor of a man who desperately wants to look untouchable. But is, in reality, deeply insecure. He says, I don't care about relationships, work, success, failure, opinions. Not because he's calm and detached. But because caring requires vulnerability. Caring means effort. Caring means risk. I don't care is how he avoids responsibility. It's how he avoids trying. Because you can't fail at something you don't care about, right? But here's the truth. Real strength isn't pretending not to care. Real strength is caring without losing control. It's having passion without panic. Investment without insecurity. The man who genuinely doesn't care has already lost. The world moves the moment you do. 5. Everyone is against me. This is what a man says when he's drowning in his own emotions. Suddenly every challenge feels like a personal attack. Every setback feels like a conspiracy. Every disagreement feels like betrayal. But the problem isn't the world. It's his inability to regulate his own mind. A wise man understands that life is not personal. People aren't against you. They're busy surviving their own battles. Situations aren't punishing you. They're simply testing who you are when things get difficult. When a man believes the world is against him, he stops improving. Because he thinks external forces are responsible for everything. A grounded man says, the world isn't against me. It's shaping me. That mindset builds resilience. 6. I know. You've heard of this guy before. You give him advice and he cuts you off with, I know. But the truth is, he doesn't know. If he did, his life wouldn't look the way it does. This phrase comes from ego. From insecurity. From the fear of admitting ignorance. But the strongest men in history were students until the day they died. They asked questions. They listened. They learned. They updated their beliefs. The man who says, I know, shuts the door to growth. The man who says, tell me more, opens the door to improvement. Humility is a superpower. Ego is a cage. 7. it's too hard. This phrase reveals everything you need to know about a man's mindset. Because life is hard. Building a body is hard. Starting a business is hard. Controlling your emotions is hard. Being consistent is hard. But that's the point. Difficulty is the training ground of greatness. Pressure is what creates resilience. Struggle is what creates strength. Hardship is what creates discipline. A stupid man sees difficulty as a reason to quit. A strong man sees difficulty as a reason to rise. He understands that the challenge is the reward. Because it transforms him into someone capable. 8. I don't have time. Let me be blunt. Everyone has the same 24 hours. Most people simply don't use them well. A foolish man believes he's a victim of his schedule. He claims he has no time. Yet somehow he finds hours for scrolling, gossiping, complaining, arguing, binge-watching, and distractions. Time is not the issue. Priorities are. A strong man looks at his day and says, "If it matters, I'll make time for it." He wakes earlier. He stops wasting time. He cuts nonsense. He builds systems. Because time is controlled by discipline, not by luck. 9. If only. This phrase is the soundtrack of a man living in fantasy. If only I had more money. If only I met the right people. If only I was younger. If only I had better opportunities. These words come from a man who is hypnotized by excuses. He builds entire imaginary worlds where he could have succeeded. But only if the conditions were perfect. But conditions will never be perfect. Opportunities will never be ideal. Circumstances will never align magically. Strong men succeed by using what they have. Weak men fail by dreaming about what they don't. Success is not built on "if only." Success is built on "let me start." 10. What's the point? This is the most dangerous phrase of them all. It's spoken by a man who has lost faith in himself. A man who has tried, failed, and allowed failure to define him. A man who believes effort has no meaning. But effort always has meaning. Progress always has value. Action always changes something. Even if the result isn't immediate. What's the point? Is a symptom of a man who thinks the world owes him instant results. It doesn't. The point is this. Every tiny improvement adds up. Every controlled emotion builds strength. Every disciplined day builds momentum. Every choice builds identity. The point is becoming the man you were meant to be. So let's end this with something deeper. Something every man needs to hear. But very few are ever told. Because the truth is this. A man's life does not fall apart in one dramatic moment. It doesn't collapse suddenly. It doesn't crumble overnight. A man destroys his life slowly. One excuse at a time. One denial at a time. One careless sentence at a time. You don't become weak all at once. You become weak the moment you stop being honest with yourself. The moment you trade responsibility for comfort. The moment you choose excuses over effort. Pride over learning. And fear over discipline. Those phrases we talked about. That's just how I am. I'll start tomorrow. I don't care. If only. What's the point? Those aren't just sentences. They are tiny fractures in your character. Small cracks in your potential. Invisible leaks in your ambition. And over time, they drain the fire out of a man. But here's the part that most people never realize. You can reverse all of it. You can rebuild yourself. You can straighten your spine. You can sharpen your mind. You can reclaim the discipline, strength, and clarity you once had. Or that you never had. But always needed. It starts by changing the way you speak. Because your words are not random. Your words are habits. Your words are reflections. Your words are seeds. And whatever you plant in your mouth eventually grows in your life. If you speak weakness, your life becomes heavy. If you speak excuses, your dreams collapse. If you speak limitations, your future shrinks. But if you speak responsibility, your world expands. If you speak discipline, your path becomes clearer. If you speak honesty, you begin to rise. And listen, you don't need to transform overnight. You don't need to burn your old life down. You don't need to magically become the strongest version of yourself by tomorrow morning. You just need to make one shift. Stop speaking like a defeated man. And start speaking like a man who is becoming. A man who takes ownership. A man who doesn't hide behind excuses. A man who welcomes difficulty because he knows it shapes him. A man who is willing to look himself in the mirror and say, I am responsible for who I am. And for who I will become. Because the truth is this. Strong men are not born. They're built, in silence. In struggle. In discipline. And in the conversations they have with themselves every single day. The weak man keeps repeating the phrases that break him. The wise man replaces them with words that build him. So from today forward, speak with intention. Speak with purpose. Speak with clarity. Cut out every phrase that makes you smaller. And practice the language of strength. Because your words shape your beliefs. Your beliefs shape your actions. Your actions shape your identity. And your identity shapes your destiny. The question is not, what do you say? The real question is, what kind of man do you want to become? Your words will take you there. Or they will keep you exactly where you are. Choose wisely. If you've made it this far, then you're already different from most men. Most people click away the moment something challenges them, but you stayed. You listened. You reflected. And that alone shows that you're committed to becoming stronger, wiser, and more disciplined than the man you were yesterday. Because here's the truth. A man's life changes the moment he stops repeating weak phrases, and starts living with intention. And if this video helped you recognize even one habit you need to break, then you've just taken a major step toward building a more powerful mindset. But don't stop here. There's more to learn. More to master. More to unlearn. More to sharpen within yourself. So if you're ready to keep going, if you're ready to walk the path of discipline, ownership, and inner strength, then subscribe to the Stoic Way. Join a community of men who choose growth over excuses, action over comfort, and wisdom over chaos. Like this video. It tells the algorithm that this message matters, and it helps this philosophy reach more people who need it. Comment below. Tell me, which phrase hit you the hardest? Your comment might be the spark someone else needs to wake up. Watch the next video. Don't break your momentum. Choose discipline. Click the next video on your screen, and keep sharpening your mind with the next Stoic lesson. Until next time, stay disciplined, stay grounded, and remember. Weak words build weak men. Strong thoughts build strong lives. Walk the Stoic path. Reclaim your power. And I'll see you in the next video.